Namaskar and welcome back to another fabulous session out here at the Sports Conclave here of Doordarshan. The roundtable conference which we are hosting on the sidelines of the 37 national games which are being brought to you day and night by Doordarshan Sports has seen some amazing and electrifying performances right from the word go when the Honorable Prime Minister of the country, Shri Narendra Modi, actually made the games open after a fabulous opening ceremony. I'm Sanjeev Mukherjee, your host for this special conclave, this special session. And of course, I'm not the only one because I might be the host, but I have those, as in four friends, four very friendly and familiar faces of Goa who are joining me. And while they might be holding cabinet positions in Goa and are very powerful and important ministers, the important, or rather more important fact is that they are very good sports persons too. Let me introduce you to all of them one by one. I am flanked on my extreme right with the man who's looking really dapper in his glasses, the Honorable Minister for Transport in Goa, Mr. Mavin Godinho, who's also a very good cricket and football enthusiast. He used to play the game. Immediately sitting next to me, I would say the smartest guy in Goa, the smartest looking guy in Goa. He's the Honorable Sports Minister, Sri Govind Gaude. To my immediate left, the Honorable Minister for Water Resource Development, Sri Subhash Shirodkar, who's also played a lot of basketball in his prime. And of course, on my extreme left, you can see the gentleman with a nice, lovely smile, the Honorable Minister for PWD in Goa, Mr. Nilesh Cabral. Warm welcome to all of you on behalf of DD Sports.
Thank you.
First and foremost, let me ask you, Mr. Sports Minister, if I might call you by that, how has the national games been going for Goa so far?
Yeah, it is actually the exciting moment for the Goans and all our athletes who has come from all the way to the state of this tiny Goa, but which is shining in the entire world as far as tourism is concerned. Also, we are having a very cultural, rich heritage, and we are blooming into sporting era. I definitely say that it is a dream of all the Goans to have this 37th national games in the state of Goa.
Absolutely. And for Goa, Mr. Godinho, if I might tell you, the recent trend in Goa has been a lot of people have been moving to Goa. They're talking about sun, sand, and software because they are all working in software. They want to live in Goa, live in peace. But now, what we are seeing at the national games, it's another 4S, but this time it's sun, sand, the sea, and of course sports. What's your take on Goa being the host for the national games?
It is not for nothing that everyone describes Goa as golden Goa. I think we are reaching that golden era with progress on every side in every sphere, and coming to sports, holding of the 37th national games in our lovely state has augured so well for sports itself that I think it is something wonderful what has happened. Promoting a new sports culture, propelling our youth to take up sports seriously, showcasing that they really have talent. Crossing something like 50 medals in Toto and more than 11 gold medals itself is testimony from the previous games held elsewhere and to those being held in Goa as to how much people have taken to sports. And hosting of the 37th national games here, I think is really going to get the youth into sports in a big way, not only as far as Goa is concerned. I think this augurs well for the country. How is this happening? One has to ponder. It is happening because we have a very tall leader like Shri Narendra Modi ji, who has given that much of emphasis to sports. Giving and hosting those games in Goa itself is a testimony of our government led by Dr. Pramod Sawant that yes, we are capable. We have a good sports minister. We are capable of hosting events. In fact, I may say in my first go that Goa today is a place of events. The highest events take place in Goa and all important events. That's how you are having the 37th national games taking place here.
Right. Subhash Shirodkar ji, if I could come to you with this question. Of course, when it is coming to hosting a big event, Goa missed out on hosting the national games the last time around. It had to wait for a while.
Yeah.
But Goa has been hosting international tournaments of late. We've seen the Table Tennis Challenge, we've seen Ironman, and a number of other big high-profile events. Do you think this time Goa, you were prepared to do what it takes to host a multi-sport event of this scale?
Yeah. You see, Goa is such a place, I would say, I would call it as a beauty spot on the face of Mother Earth. We have extreme north Kashmir and extreme south down below we have got Goa, which has been, I would say, well taken by the people of the country as well as the people from abroad. As far as the sports is concerned, we have been very, very anxiously longing for this event to happen in Goa. In fact, I was president for Olympic Association maybe about 10 years back, and then we were also longingly wishing to have it over here. Fortunately, my friend and colleague Mr. Govind Gowdiji and Mr. Dr. Pramod Sawant has succeeded in getting this event happen in Goa. And I tell you, we are proud. We are proud in the sense we have today organized about the entire event for more than 10,000 athletes who have come all the way from various parts of the country. And right from day one, it has been going well. And not just the national games, I would say we are also set and we are prepared for the conduct of Asian Games too.
Right. If I could bring you into this, Mr. Cabral, you head the PWD ministry. How difficult was it, or how tough a task was it to get everything on track? Because hosting this sort of event is not just about infrastructure, but also making sure that everything works to the T. And of course, you have a constituency to take care of, you have the city, you have the districts, you have the entire state to take care of. So many athletes coming in, people are coming in, the media is here. How tough a task was this?
See, everything is challenging and it's not easy to organize this type of events. We being a very small state, we must be a district in some of the bigger states. But organizing this event, it's not the first time we are organizing events, but every time when we organize, it's a challenge. And every new challenge is what we expect and accept. And that is why Sports Minister, Honorable Chief Minister, has been continuously personally monitoring a lot of activities so that the athletes specifically and the support staff, including their coaches and all, are well kept off. And I was there yesterday in the Indo Stadium. I interacted with a lot of players and they're very happy in the organization. That proves that Goa can go to the next level.
Absolutely. Mr. Gode, we're coming back to the main point as well. It's all good hosting tournaments of this nature, be it national or international. But now the next step, I know you have, in fact, you, the Honorable Chief Minister of Goa, all of you have indicated that this time we are going to give a push to Goa to make it the next big thing as far as sports tourism is concerned. Now, how are you going to do this? How are you going to go about it? Please explain to us.
Definitely, Goa is having a very good infrastructure in the sporting era is concerned. And we have already planned to go for the legacy plan where we have to create or we have to polish a diamond who are going to dazzle not only at the national but the international level. For this, we had a different sports association, state sports association, equipped by the Goa Olympic Associations. And we are tied up with all the fraternities and the facilities which has been provided and which has been created by the state of Goa. Definitely, it is not only the government to organize such an event, but we have to always see that the infrastructure which has been created by the state of Goa has to be utilized in proper ways so that the infrastructure and the equipments which has been already brought and put in place should be always equipped with the good facility, and my athletes should grow and they should motivate among themselves. It is not only the athletes but entire the next generation is watching to these athletes who themselves want to be like what athletes are doing there. But it is, I will always would like to grade that sport is not an easy field. We have to put every effort, day and night. We have to put in the sweat. Then only it is possible to achieve the goal. But being an athlete, and many athletes has been participated across the India, who has given a very sheer dedication, who has got a very burning desire in their sporting spirit and the sports personality is concerned. Definitely, unless and until we slog for many hours in a day, it is very difficult us to achieve the success in the sports. I'll always look that my Goa is though it is a very tiny, but it is have a great potential about the tourism. I already mentioned that culturally we are very rich. But the culture, the tourism, and the sports should be emphasis in the triangle where we can get the name and fame in the all aspects of view. As you all know that our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Ji Modi, last if we consider these 2 years, before that 2 years, Narendra Ji Modi was preaching only for the tourism. But now he started preaching the sport, and this gives a result in the Asian Games, which was recently held at the China, where we have crossed the 100 medals. The sport is not only the particular about the state, but it is of the nation where we can excel. Then only it is possible us to be a very greatest nation on this planet.
Right. Mr. Godinho, let's lighten this up a little bit, because all of us have learnt in school when we were young kids, we were taught all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Agreed?
Agreed.
Gentlemen, all of you agree with
Agree.
it?
Yeah, very much.
All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy? Right. Let's spice it up a little bit. Mr. Godinho, I'm told you were a pretty, what would I say, accomplished leader of the student movement here in Goa. You also were very much big time into sport. Tell us about, what it was those days in Goa and how your first time as a young sportsperson come a student, being a student leader, how it helps you now to see things in perspective.
First of all, I strongly believe that youth are the real energy. India being a young nation with a population, a huge population of young people moving forward, they need to expend their energy. And to expend their energy, what better way to do than excel in sports? This is human activity, one of the best of its kind, which should be propagated, promoted, and rightly so. We are marching forward in that direction. When you view the progress of a country, once you view that progress, then naturally you also view how much that country has come up in sports. And to look at our country today, it is a great satisfaction. Yes, the youth are expending their energy well. Well done at the Asiad. Even better performance at the 37 national games. And come Olympics, you are going to see it happening. We had the 49th cricket century by Virat Kohli ji, and equaling Sachin Tendulkar, another great. So in every facet of sports, we are seeing progress. And I, for one, having come from a student movement, having come from a sports movement at that time, being in college, being most active, being president of All Goa Students Union, all this evolved into me learning and bettering myself in the entire learning process of how to use the youth energy, how to make them work well, and that is what our country is doing today. So it speaks volumes of actually where we are going to be there, next level, and sooner than expected is what we expect. And that is what is going to make our youth happy, because unless the youth of a country are happy, then I think it leads to promotion of a sense of happiness, well-being, a happy quotient, which will augur very well for our country, as we already have moved even economically to the 5th largest economy, likely to move to the 3rd largest economy. Why not move up in the happiness quotient by having one of the best sportswomen? Because sports is something you young people should realize, teaches you discipline, dedication, hard work, commitment, giving your 100%. Winning, losing is part of life. Facing life is going to, that is what sports is going to teach all of you.
I'm just going to make a quick interjection. Excellently spoken by Mr. Godinho, but I'm sure all of you will agree with me. You are addressing our audience as you young people, but I believe all 4 of you are young at heart, because you need to be good administrators, and when you're looking at sports, you need to have the passion of youth, you need to have the fire of youth, and that is something which I'm seeing coming through all 4 of you. Mr. Cabral, of course, now we know Mr. Godinho, he was possibly watching, he had 2 televisions in front of him. Moment he mentions Virat Kohli, he was obviously watching national games on one screen and he was watching the World Cup on the other. But coming back to Goa, promoting Goa as a sports tourism hub, there's so much to be done. But the big question I have, and I'm sure you have plans for it, the concern is whenever you have a big event, we have seen not only in India, internationally also, they prepare venues, everything is done, infrastructure. Once the games are over, you don't know what to do with the infrastructure, you don't know what to do with those extra grounds, you don't know what to do with everything, all this equipment. I'm sure you must be thinking on those lines to develop it so that it's not that people come here, athletes come here for the national games, they're gone from Goa, and that's it. How do you plan to develop it?
No, basically, if you go to see, we have already spoken, Honorable Chief Minister, Sports Minister, myself, we have already spoken, and we intend to take the infrastructure to the next level. Now, what is the next level? See, we have a lot of, Goa being a very tourist destination, there are very positive vibes. And we intend to take this sporting culture to a different way by creating sort of academy, not only for the people of Goa, but the entire people of India and even abroad. And as you know, we get a lot of population. Ours is the only state in the country where you get direct flights. We call them scheduled flights. And we get charter flights, which come directly to the state from different places. So there is no thing where we cannot think of taking professional help and giving them this place so that this can be kept over. And then we had a problem of organizing our 35th national games, but now we have organized 36, and now I think whenever they call us for the 37 and 38, we'll be ready. This is what we want to do, and this is what we are focusing about.
That's right, and that's the readiness which sets apart possibly Goa as one of the new destinations, because we've seen while covering the national games that one thing is for sure, the facilities. There can be 9 or 10 here and there at every venue, in every location across India. But Goa, when it comes to readiness, I can personally vouch for the events which I've visited and covered. They're absolutely on the team. Mr. Shirodkar, you have one of the most important jobs in Goa, water resources. Goa means they say sun, sand and the sea, the vast expanse, the lovely waters. How do you plan to possibly, when you're thinking of water as a resource, of course it's your portfolio.
Right.
How are you planning, or rather what plans do you have to develop maybe water sport? Because we've seen across the world there are a number of places which don't have access to possibly as many water outlets as Goa has, but they've developed far enough. So considering the fact that Goa has so much of water expanse around it, I'm sure you must have some special plans. Now, we don't want to read it about in the newspapers. There should not be any breaking news, sir. No breaking news. Correct? All agree?
Yes.
Today, you're going to break the news. What are the special plans you have as far as utilizing water for Goa?
First of all, let me point out, at the background, there is a beautiful river Mandavi, which is flowing down to Arabian Sea. Likewise, we have got almost 3 to 4 rivers, which can be well utilized. And I tell you, very shortly, Goa is going to come out with an academy, particularly sports, water sports, particularly for water sports. Not just only for Goans, but for the entire nation, and then for I would say, the people from abroad also. You see, there is a lot of similarity between West Bengal and Goa.
Right.
You won't find a single village in Goa which does not play football. And then we have got the football play fields all over, spread over.
Since I'm from Bengal, on a lighter note, is Bengal better than Goa? Let's have this. He's agreeing. He's already conceded.
because for the simple reason, you see, Bengal is so vast and so big, but then our smallness also, I would say there is quite appreciable performance by our boys over here. We have been, as far as football is concerned, there has been always a tough between the Bengal and Goa. And many times we have been always a little step forward as far as football is concerned.
Mr. Gode, we talk about plans, and the fact is the waiting period. जो कहते हैं ना कि class teacher asks you to wait while he corrects your mark sheet.
Definitely.
So here we are listening to the big plans of expansion you have as far as developing or rather pushing Goa as the next big sporting destination. What are the challenges you consider? Because on one hand, of course, we can talk as much as we want about the infrastructure and how you want to utilize it. On the other hand, you already have very established sporting destinations, sports tourism destinations already in India. How is going to Goa break through and be one of its own as a standalone property?
Yes. In addition or continuation with the Honorable Minister for WRD, the football, when we talk about, but in this 37th National Games, we had introduced many traditional sports where people or the young generation from the rural area, basically the Goa is consists of 70% rural area and 30% is urban areas, where our children, or the students, or the athletes who are only used to play football or the cricket, which are the famous sports. But in this national games, and because of the national games in the past year too, we have been introduced many new sports where our own athletes across the country had got the opportunity to be part and to take active part in that individual sports, which are also been identified by the Olympic Games. As you all know that the Honorable Prime Minister has already preached to bid for the 2036 Olympic Games. And as far as my knowledge is concerned, as you all, my dear colleagues, has already mentioned that we all set to host any kind of event. But hosting the event or hosting the national games is not only the event, but it is a clear-cut platform to the upcoming athletes or the young generation who is looking to these athletes who has been already excelled in their individual capacity and individual career. Sports has to be looked upon the creating a career in their life, and that is why I would always would like to say that when you are going to have a passion with the dedication and determination and utmost discipline, definitely you can reach to the goal for which they have already predicted in their life too. But I will always say that legacy plan is concerned, we are definitely going to introduce many more sports, and whatever the sports where we have to promote, we have to give the push, definitely we are going to give on the behalf of the government of Goa. And though government of Goa has been focused now very preciously and cautiously to promote the sport as far as in state of Goa, so that we would also have the great name in the sporting era. I would like to always say to you that many international federations, they want to host the world championship in the different disciplines. They are in talks with the government of Goa. But definitely we has got every infrastructure, and we are enough to give the wholehearted security to each and every athletes, the players, the VVIPs who is coming down from the entire globe, which has been showcased in the past so many years. We have been faced a lot of, though it is organization is a very tough and the challenging time. But definitely when we have an organization skill or the dedication, sheer dedication, well, definitely we can give the best in the years, in the days ahead to come.
Right, and of course, staying on with you now for a while, we'll come back to developing Goa as a sports tourism. But you remember, gentlemen, I'd introduce all four of you as having been very good sports persons yourself in your younger days. All of you guys are still young. There's no doubt about it. Let me start with the Honorable Sports Minister.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm told you were good in which sport? Kabaddi?
Yes, I am very passionate about my dream sport, that is Kabaddi, which I played in my childhood, and definitely I have won a lot of laurels and the awards in this Kabaddi. Even I have been played for the state during my college and the school time.
And you're still keeping fit. What's the trick?
Yeah,
have you shared it with your colleagues?
No, definitely, if you wanted to do a very good job and we have to deliver, then definitely health should be taken on the priority. And that is why every day I used to work out for nearly 1.5 hours in a day. Early in the morning at around 5:15 a.m. My day starts at 5 a.m. Even though if I sleep late in the night, I'm not sparing any time to come out with the exercise or the working out.
Mr. Goodinho, that's impressive what the sports minister says. He's waking up at 5 every morning, he's practicing for an hour and a half. Yes. He's keeping very fit. What about your youth as a sports person? You were into cricket and football both, or was it just football for you?
No, I was very more passionate about cricket. Unfortunately, at that time when I was young, there was no Ranji recognition for Goa. So that's what held up my plans. I always was dreaming to play for India, but I said, when we don't have Ranji recognition, I have to move to another state. Then I started playing football as well. Not to say that I used to not play other sports. I have always been passionate, so much so that I used to be so much active in the youth movement that they had made me the president of the Goa Sportsmen Association, which I held for quite some time. People from all disciplines used to come. My answer and my thing to them was, be fit, health is wealth. If you're a sports person, you'll be healthy, you'll be a good citizen. You'll promote positivity in your mind, which is going to stand you for good entire life of yours. So sports is something you cannot give up. India may not be ranking so high, but times will come. Today it's such a wonderful thing to see that our times have come. Yes, we are doing well at every level of sports, in every discipline. We have our youth moving forward. What a nice thing to see. And you youth are the real future. You are the people who are going to take this country to more than what people even expect today. And that is what our Honorable Prime Minister is doing, our Honorable Sports Minister is doing at the center, including here our Honorable Chief Minister and the Sports Minister. And for that matter, all of us, because ultimately it's a collective responsibility. We think sometimes nation building belongs to only a few bureaucrats, a few ministers and the system. It belongs to each one of you, particularly the youth.
Right. And that's the reason. Remember, gentlemen, that's the reason. Just before we started the show, I said, when we're going to do the show, I want that inside you to come out so that people, when they're watching, they read your names as they are ministers, but they will get the fact that these are sports enthusiasts who are speaking and not speaking as ministers. Mr. Cabral, I'm sure, pretty envious. I'm sure many people will be of what our, the gentlemen on our right have done and what they're doing presently. But what about you? What was your youth like? The reason I'm asking you these questions about what sort of sport you used to play, I'm trying to figure out. It's not easy when we expect ministers to come up, officials of the government to come up and deliver for the public, specifically in sports. And when you have a sports background, you played the game yourself, it obviously helps. I'm trying to figure out or rather get into your mindset. So, Mr. Cabral, tell me a little bit about your youth.
Well,
what game were you into?
I used to play, like Mr. Morvin has said, we used to play a lot of games. But football, being passionate then, is a game which I used to like. And I remember in my young days when in college, I was also the major game secretary in organizing various games then. Today, in Goa, I help a professional club which is in Goa Football Association's club, who is in the professional team in Garden Angel Sports Club. I've been associated with chess. I had met a lot of all other activities, square martial arts and all other things. But what is passionate about is what I did then is different today. When we played then is different today. That time, sports was not considered as a career. You know, that is the difference. That was last. Today is different. Today, if you shine, it becomes a career, and you can take. Maybe you can beat any bureaucrat of even a doctor in there whenever they have finished their medicals. Because today, professional sports is something which was never seen nowadays. And that is why today youngsters we see playing. Today I am fortunate my daughter is also participating in nationals in judo for the state of Goa.
Wow, congratulations
so what
to
I'm
you.
saying is that it's very different today. And that is why the youngsters today have to come up and perform. Because it is not, and performing is not very easy. Because I have seen my daughter for 45 days she's away from me. And early morning they get up and I mean that's their job to see that they come out best out of whatever it is. And I think difference between then and today is very different. And I am sure with things that Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji with Khelo India movement giving the athletes the opportunity, even who can perform in different ways, they have been coming and showing their skills. I think this is what India is today. And I'm sure the perception what the Honorable Prime Minister is saying that we want to bring the Olympics, his target whenever starting now, is showing that we are going to be the world masters in sports over the years to come.
Well, that's indeed great to hear. Right. We're going to be the world masters in sports. Mr. Shirodkar, last but not least, you've been what I would call a hoopster. You played basketball yourself.
Yeah.
But the question here is that when you were in your playing days and when you look at Goa now, there is this perception, there still is, and for obviously genuinely good reasons, that Goa is a football powerhouse.
Right.
Do you think, while the pros are that of course Goa is known worldwide, not only in India, for its football and its beaches, on the cons of this is that perhaps people have taken too long to understand that it's not just football, other sports can also grow and become big in Goa. Do you agree with this?
Very much. I tell you, we have got such a potential among our youths that it's not just only football, but we can come up even in cricket and we can come up even other field. The events like I would say table tennis and other things. Fortunately for us here in Goa, because basically I'm in education. I have almost 2,000 children in my campus. And one beautiful thing for the state of Goa, every school has been provided with a well-qualified physical education teacher, which takes care of our Goan youths and boys and girls. In my childhood, I used to play cycling and football. But then when I grew in my youth, I used to play basketball because that was the only court which was available for us.
I think you're one of the rare people. He's one of the rare
Yeah,
people.
rare.
From football, he goes to basketball. How did you manage that? Tell us a little bit about it. Come on. I mean, tell us.
You see, I found that football field was too big for me. So I chose to a field which was smaller.
Smaller field, but
Where
smaller
I-
field but bigger heights.
where I could jump and fly over like to the basket. That was my intention.
So
And then-
he
then-
switched pretty early.
Yeah, yeah.
He switched pretty early. So now the fact is that the facility, you could talk of the infrastructure and the plans. But my point is, how do you bring it home? For Goans, their first and only love till now, maybe about a couple of years back, was one and only the beautiful game, or what we call Jogo Bonito, football. Now, how do you bring that die-hard football Goan? How do you bring that die-hard football Goan to the other sport? What are your plans? What is the outreach program?
Definitely, the state has declared the football is the status sports. But apart from the football, it is no need to bring the young generation from the football to the different discipline which have been already introduced by the state and the country as two. But automatically, the Goan people, Goan athletes are joining to different discipline of their own hobbies or the passion what they already have. Because there are in the recent, if I talk about the 37th National Games, there are 7 new sports has been introduced, and Goa has done an excellent job. If I take 2 names, that is the modern pentathlon, where Goa has clinched 9 medals. This is the first time where Goa, when I was going through the interviews of this winning champ, they were saying that we have just come to know the modern pentathlon just about 45 days back. We were not knowing at all what is this game. So this is what we want to promote. This is what we have to get to the people of Goa and our youths to the from all over India. And that is why automatically the people or the youths are joining to the different games. Even the squash, the one of the leading champ of from the Goa is training and getting trained in the USA. But she came down directly from the USA to Goa, and she clinched a gold for the Goa.
Right.
Mini golf, this was a very new sports to the Goa, but still my own Goan athlete has won the this thing gold medal. Taekwondo, we got 2 gold medals. Now we are also waiting for the judo's result to be announced. But definitely, square martial art is their first time, and the Goa is exploring or flourishing their talents in the square martial art, where they have got the many national gold medals during the national championship of the square martial art, which has been kicked off from today itself. So let us hope very good things about the sport. And I was already mentioned that the sports is only not meant for the particular state, but we have to focus more on the nation. So as per Honorable PWD Minister Cabral has already said, we have to a master in the sporting field across the world.
Right. On a lighter note, before I go across to your other colleagues,
Yeah.
you think Kabaddi needs your help? Goa is not doing so well in Kabaddi this time. Maybe first time around.
Definitely, see, as once upon a time, Goa was doing very well in the Kabaddi. And they were always competing to the Maharashtra. There were only 2 states where Kabaddi was used to play in a very regular practice, and we have got the name and fame. Definitely, sometimes there are up and downs in the individual sports, but definitely I am started when I took over the sports ministry,
Right.
and which has been shouldered by my own Honorable Chief Minister. I tried to give the best, but definitely this is the first time ever in the history of the Goan sporting field we won the highest medal in this 37 national games.
Right.
And adding to it, I think this 37 national games is the mega sports festival ever been happening in the country. I would also further state that it is the one of the biggest festival of the sports in entire globe, where 10,147 athletes has been participated till now with the 43 different disciplines. with the other technical officials. I think everybody is praising for the participation, and every athlete who is living in the remote area allows to be to play in the state of Goa, because Goa has got that much glamour, that was sensitivity, and I always says that hospitality is the topmost priority of the Goa and the Goans, where we always giving more importance to the phrase Atithi Devo Bhava, and that is what I am always seen from last 20 days where this 37 national games has been kicked off. Every athletes, every technical officials, every person who has come on behalf of the for the national games,
Right.
they are saying that all Goans has welcomed us in a very greater and a greater manner. And this is what the caliber the Goa is having. We hope in next many years to go, we will definitely lead the sporting field in the state of Goa.
Absolutely, and it goes without saying, because personally, all of us here on part of the broadcast network, Doordarshan Sport, we can vouch for the fact that when it comes to hospitality, Goa is second to none. They're first among equals, and it goes without saying, one of the most hospitable and beautiful states with lovely people. This is Goa, and remember, as the Honorable Sports Minister said, it's been a remarkable achievement, hosting over 10,000 athletes in 43 disciplines, 28 states, 8 union territories, along with the Services Sports Control Board. It's no mean feat. This, in fact, has been and will be the biggest ever national games till somebody overtakes it. But staying on track, coming back on track, Mr. Godinho, of course, I know all of you have been very kind to share a little bit of time from your very busy schedules to come and talk to us here. You develop Goa as a sporting destination, as a sports tourism destination, but what is step two? Because when we look at abroad, when we look at foreign countries, and we see they develop facilities not only for their own athletes, but also in off-season, there are athletes who come from other countries. Like, for example, the BCCI in cricket, it has developed so much facilities for cricket all over India, not just for India. Today, Afghanistan is playing so well in the World Cup. And one of the biggest credits needs to go to our Honorable Union Sports Minister, Shri Anurag Thakur, who facilitated that Afghanistan could come and train in Delhi NCR for a long time. And look where they are. Do you think Goa would have plans like that? You're planning to get all these equipment, you're planning to do all these sports and etc. But it should not be only for Goa, it should be also for the rest of the country.
See, the most important thing is everyone will agree that Goa is the most preferred destination, most liked destination, whether athlete or sportsmen or sportswomen or the tourists or from all over the world, they prefer to come to Goa. Now, to capitalize on this, we have to see that the sporting facilities created during the 37 national games are utilized to its optimum even when there are no events. How do you do that? The government itself doing it will never happen. There has to be a healthy public-private participation. You have to get the private sector, you have to get those organizations which would use those facilities and use them well and use it all year round. If that happens, then I think it will be the time to build up on what you already have, maintain them well, and have people actually performing and doing their things on those particular fields. That is what is required. If you look behind me, as you see lovely waters, we should have had Goa having so much of water bodies all around. We should have had the best swimmers with us. We have good swimmers, but we don't have as many as we should have had. We should have been gold medalists, whether at the national level, whether at the world level, whether at the Olympics. Forget about only national games.
Fabulous point.
This is what we should have been having, but we have not utilized that. But I think the mindset has now changed, and 37 national games has changed it for the better, permanently for the future. So the future augurs very well. These 37 national games have taught us that yes, you are not good only being hospitable, because I am the protocol minister also. I welcome all top dignitaries, small dignitaries, everybody around. I have seen the happiness. The moment they land at the airport, they put their foot on Goa, they are happy. That's the happiness quotient of Goa. If this can happen in sports, everyone, they love to train in Goa. Why do you have the largest participation?
Right.
Goa is a brand by itself.
Yeah.
Going to Goa is a bigger event than ever going anywhere else. That also had as much participation as even the Asian Games. We have crossed 10,000,
Right.
a big feather in the cap of Goa. So this shows that we have a bright future in anything we do. We are blessed that way. I have a very healthy argument with my colleagues in Kerala. They call God's own country.
Yeah.
I tell them Goa is a place where gods dwell in Goa. So that sort of blessing when you have on this lovely land called Goa, that sort of happiness
Beautiful.
quotient is there. Why will the sportsmen, sportswomen not want to come here again and again, whether to train, whether to participate in the event, whether in the international tournaments? This has to be a continuous process, will be a continuous process. It is up to us how healthy we get this private participation. Like I'll give you a very simple example before ending.
Sure.
Recently, Honorable Sports Minister inaugurated a beautiful ground in my constituency, a cricket ground. Then you have this
Squash.
bowling, squash,
Lawn ball.
lawn bowling, all those events happening there. How are we going to maintain that? First of all, the cricket ground. I told him give it to GCA. As you say, there's a lot of money in cricket. One thing I don't have to worry. The best, one of the best cricket grounds prepared will remain as it is or even become better than what it is. So give it to the GCA. They will maintain it. What is important, have a tie-up. Locals also can
Right.
play whenever they want.
Right.
That is what we want.
Right.
But if you are thinking the government is going to do it, we are going to do it, it's not going to happen. So there has to be participatory role of people who actually will look after the grounds, help the sportsmen play and take them forward in a manner. They not only promote sports, they promote our tourism as well and everything else around them, because with tourism comes everything. With people coming, you know what the whole economy today is buzzing. That many shops, that many sales, that many destinations where tourists love to go, and they will go and tell 10 other people. You multiply that, the multiplier effect. So National Games is not only for sportsmen, it is for the people of the entire country and the world perhaps, and that is what Goa has been able to do. So hats off to Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, to Anurag Thakur ji, to Dr. Pramod Sawant ji, as well as Govind Gaude ji, and all the full people in the government and all others associated, the officials, the sportswomen, even the small men around. They have shown Goa can do it. That is what is the spirit. In the true spirit of sports, they have been very, very sporting.
Absolutely. And you know, all of you will, I'm sure, will agree with me. Mr. Godinho is on fire.
He's always on fire.
He's the Virat Kohli now. He's bad. He's batting like Virat Kohli. He's been sensational. He's been on fire. Okay, Mr. Cabral, just taking this point a little further, it has to happen in partnership. It cannot be that the government creates these facilities, the government creates an infrastructure, an ecosystem, and nobody pays for it. Like abroad, when we look at these big countries in the Eastern Bloc, Eastern Union, Eastern Europe, who do so much in athletics, even in the United States, there is sometimes it's a public-private partnership, and sometimes more on the lines of pay and play. Suppose somebody needs to practice for an event, a certain team or a state or a group, they come to Goa, and the deal should be that they should pay. Obviously, it's at a nominal rate, and that's how you use the facilities. The facilities are also maintained, and you make sure your coffers are not empty, because it's not obviously so easy running it from the government's coffers. It's not so easy. You must be having plans on how to make sure that it's also commercially viable.
Of course, we have. See, what has happened is we being a very small state, all our colleagues gel well together. Honorable Chief Minister is also very young. So question does not come. We are open to any ideas. And as a cabinet minister, I think we will decide what is best for Goa. And as you rightly pointed out, it is not easy for Goa to maintain infrastructure. Creation may be because we spend money, but maintaining it, we have to give it on a public-private partnership. And when public-private partnership is given, they are the people who will have to take into account that this is how you have to maintain it. And here our governors can go inside that. Maybe when they have international players coming in, national players coming in, our talent also can be boosted. So I think what you said is absolutely correct. We are working on those directions, and Honorable Sports Minister has already said, and he's on record, including Honorable Chief Minister, that once the national games are over, we will be bringing in a lot of federations, whether it is nationally, whether it is internationally, whether it is locally, together to see how this infrastructure, what we have created, is maintained. And as I said in my opening statements, that once we do all this, we will be ready to host a 37, 38, 39, 40, 41 national games. There's nothing like that. So that is why what I'm saying, after we have hosted this, we were a little delayed. But I think we have put our whole and soul and made it happen today. Goa being a very small state, I repeat again, being a very small state, it's a gem in a country, and that is why we are going to come openly into a different form and see that the sporting infrastructure created leaves to the day and leaves for the day whenever we require it.
Absolutely. And I must add to what he said. He said Goa is one of the smallest states. Agreed. But I would add to it, one of the smallest states with the largest hearts.
Yeah.
One of the most large-hearted
Definitely.
states and populace I've seen. Mr. Shirodkar, water sports. That's something which seems to be the next big boom as far as the Indian sports tourism industry is concerned. I'm sure you have your plans, but how do you want to go about it? Is it in a phased manner, or maybe in a couple of years, 3 years, 4 years? Suddenly, when we come back to Goa, we see it is possibly the hub of water sports in India, not only in India, in Southeast Asia, maybe.
Particularly when it comes to water sports, no doubt this comes within the purview of our sports minister, but no doubt I will throw upon all the water bodies, whatever we have, big and large and small. All the water bodies, whether with a salty water or with a fresh water, throw open for a general public, in the sense like sportswomen and sports athletes to what I should say, avail these facilities to the best of the abilities and the skills to develop for.
No, but I would rather add
Yeah,
to
sure.
the point of the Honorable Minister. See, it's not that we don't have facilities. If you see today on our beaches, we have a lot of sports, surfing, windsurfing, we have paragliding, we have banana boats. You name the event. I mean,
There's also this new thing which has started, we see all over the world. There's a transparent sphere.
yeah, that's
People
walking.
yeah,
That's
walking.
that's
Yeah,
there
yeah.
in Goa. You know,
Yeah,
it's the only thing is that we have not tapped the potential of creating environment where maybe we can part in the national and international events. And I'm sure what Honorable WRD Minister has said, I think we have the potential to that, and because we have wonderful water bodies, and it is not that Goan. See, if you come to Goa, there is no person as a tourist who does not visit the beach and do the activities of adventurous activities. We may call it that way. Adventurous activities adventure sports on the beaches. Every beach will have this. It's not that we don't have, but yes, we have not cultivated into a sporting sphere. So I think with your ideas, Honorable Sports Minister, Honorable Chief Minister, WRD Minister will take this forward. There's no doubt
Absolutely,
about it.
absolutely. We are looking forward to something. It's not just about events. Something really spectacular in Goa. So I know its time has just flown by. I wish I could have these gentlemen for a little bit longer, but unfortunately I can't. So before I take their closing comments, let's do it hypothetically. Okay, I'm going to give all four of you one option. If you are to be given a chance to be in charge and develop a particular sport or a discipline, what would it be? Starting with you, sir, Mr. Goodinho. One sport which you want to develop further as far as Goa and sports tourism is concerned. Independently, what would you like to do?
For example,
Mr. God is listening in.
since since we are good in football and cricket both, I would choose either of the games. Where in cricket I would like Virat Kohli coming from Goa, or because we not to forget that we had Mr. Sardesai, who at one point of time was the
Dilip
biggest
Sardesai.
cricketer from
Yes,
Goa.
Dilip Sardesai.
Dilip
Dilip
Sardesai.
Yeah.
So I can't forget that we had a cricketer of that stature. Football, as you know, is very much close to Goans as well as to Bengal, your state. If we both collaborate in the real sense, why can't we produce world-class footballers who would be playing in the English league, who would be playing in all the premier leagues in the world? Why? We have that sort of sportsmen, but only they have to get that sort of training, that sort of consistency in the period that they are trained. They play so well for some time, suddenly you see them fading out. No, yes, ISL has happened, people are there, those teams are there, but those standards should be much higher than what they are. And as I say, Goa, there is football like fish and curry, Bengal fish and curry. If both the states collaborate in sports, particularly football, also the Northeast, which also is coming up in a big way as far as football is concerned. If they sit down, plan these things well, then they will be doing great service, whether it is to GFA or the Football Federation at the national level, and see that Goa and Bengal and Northeast and the rest in the country produce those world-class players. That would be my dream, and we have it in us to do that. And Goa, as you have seen, we may be a tiny state, but it's like that small dynamite which just explodes, waiting to explode in terms of progress, in terms of performance, in terms of giving the best as far as individuals are concerned in any field, including sports, in a big, big way.
Absolutely. And as one wise man once said, it's not about how big or small you are. As he said, a tiny state. It's about the potential. Goa's potential
Yeah.
is enormous. And of course, it remains to be seen how far it can take itself on this level as far as sports is concerned. Mr. Cabral, very quickly, one sport you would like to see being developed immensely in Goa. Which is the one? Take your pick. Just give me one.
See what has happened in the past. We had a lot of great hockey players from Goa also, and I think there is where we have gone back. I think if given an opportunity, it's not that I am not associated with various sports. Since Marvin has said football, I will not repeat it. And I think where we can focus is we will be always seeing that Goan players go ahead. So maybe I will focus on, if the sports minister and maybe the chief minister gives me responsibility, maybe hockey and boxing is what I would like to be part of association.
Now you know. Now you know. If you need if you need extra help in hockey and boxing, he is there. Okay, Mr. Shirodkar, one sport, just one sport, pick one sport of your choice, could be basketball also, which you would like to see being developed on the lines of Goa becoming the next super hub as far as sports tourism is concerned.
Irrespective of whether I have a WRD or no WRD, I would always prefer to mingle with the youths of the state of Goa as well as national level, particularly for water sports. Various types of water sports, because we have got some 3-4 dams which are with the fresh water, and then we have got 2 rivers. In fact, there is a Juari river which is flowing down from my village. So I would always prefer to get associated with water sports for the state of Goa as well as at national level. Another small thing that I would like to make a reference, like Gatka, which is an indigenous martial art,
Yeah.
Goa has performed well just within 45 days. Till then we were not aware of it. But then our boys and girls have profoundly done well in Gatka martial art. And I would like to promote it in the state of Goa.
The last word, of course, to the big boss man, I might say. Yeah, he doesn't look to be what he is right now doing in life. I mean, he still looks like a sports person, keeping as fit and ever and keeping a very close eye. The last word to you, how would you like to see Goa being developed, and what are your actual dreams of developing Goa as the next big thing as far as sports tourism is concerned?
Yeah, of course, when everybody has talked about the different sports, but I will always give a preference to the regional sports or the traditional sports, where we have a very tremendous potential among the athletes, not only from the Goa, but the different part of the country. I am always optimistic about what I'm having a proposed vision. And to achieve that mission, definitely we have to think long of next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Who knows that our own traditional sports will be included in the Olympic Games. And sports is such a field where we cannot have the results in a 1 year of time or 2 years of time. But it is a lengthy process unless and until we do a practice and practice with the sheer dedication and the burning desire. It is not possible us to achieve the goal. But definitely my plans are very wider plans. It is always there, says that slow and steady wins the race. We heard the story of the tortoise and the rabbit. And accordingly, we have to march towards for achieving the goals what we have already targeted by the government of Goa. But definitely, whatever the infrastructure what we have been created till now will be put in proper use, so that we are going to see that our own diamonds will be polished in days to come, so that they are going to dazzle at the international level in the Olympic Games.
Absolutely. And in winding up, I must tell you, whenever you are next time here in Goa, listen to this carefully, or remember the times you've been here in Goa, you are on a beach.
Yeah.
When you're looking at the sand, sometimes the sun is on the sand, more often than not, you fail to spot what's lying in the sand. That's the potential of Goa.
Tap it.
It has not been seen for a long time. It's been right here. But now, this extremely super efficient and I would say sports enthusiastic group out here, who are ministers first, but I would say who are sports persons at heart first, under the able leadership of the Honorable Goa Chief Minister and under the able leadership of our Union Sports Minister, Shri Anurag Thakur, and of course the Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi. They are making sure that what lies there in the sand and is sparkling and is not being seen by anybody will now be the next big thing which will dazzle not only India but the world. That's the essence of this roundtable discussion here on DD Sports on the sidelines of the 37th National Games. It's been a fabulous time for all of us bringing you the broadcast, but it's been even better listening to all these gentlemen out here. Sri Govind Gaude, Sri Mavin Godinho, Sri Nilesh Cabral and Subhash Shirodkar. A big thank you to all of you sparing us so much
Thank
of
you.
time for all of us
Thank
here.
you. Thank
It's
you.
been a pleasure. And remember, next time it's sun, sand, sun and sports.
Sports.
That's the way. That is Goa's way. Take it away. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.